Alright, what is up? This is alertwolf here. I'm gonna bring you my BTOOOM episode 4 review. I think this one's called Best in the World. And I'll start with the summary basically. Alright, this episode is all about, and again, I'm gonna cheat. We get the backstory of Kira, which is the little boy at the end of the last episode was standing over the dead body with a weird circular shaped hole in the tree. And we get his backstory, and it opens up with he's arrested. He's arrested for killing 3 people or women and raping their corpses. Like, this kid is 14 years old. He is fucked in the head. He is fucked up. And his dad and his lawyer are going to get him out. And his lawyer is this guy that people call him like a bleeding heart, and he's taking on one of these cases. And next thing you know, we're back on the island. It's a recap from day 2, and we get he's killing frogs, right? He's just smashing frogs with a stick. 100 frogs, and the lawyer dude comes to tell him that's wrong. So now he's on the island right now with his he's not just on the island. He's on the island with the lawyer, and then the lawyer said we should get your father. You should try telling your father how he feels. The lawyer is a legitimate good guy trying to help this kid out. Is what you gather. And just then a package drop, and he's trying to explain to the kid why killing animals is wrong, and he's like, oh, I don't see the big deal. I mean, people kill to eat. He's like, yeah, but it's wrong to kill for fun. He's like, if it's not hurting anybody, and even if it is, I don't see the problem with it because I'm enjoying it. This kid is a freaking psychotic serial killer kid. This kid, and his name is, I think it's Kira. Let me double check. Yeah, Kira. Kira is a psychopath. He is a straight up fucking serial killer. And then him and his father and the lawyer go back to get the package. The package on a tree, and his father's like, you have the best type of grenade for it. We should use, or bomb for it. We should use your bomb. And he's bullying his son around. He's kind of kicking him and beating him as he's doing stuff for him. He tries to put the bomb, but it doesn't work. It really didn't work because he didn't hit the button, but he thought maybe Kira had to do it. So Kira hits it, and basically, it explodes the circle-shaped hole. And what it is it's like a gravity bomb or a vacuum bomb. I think it's like a gravity bomb, because what happens is it's like it's a vortex, because it opens up. It's like a little half shell, right? Half circle, and it sticks to something. And then it opens, and like a vacuum, it draws stuff inside of it, and this is why I think it may be like a mini black hole deal, because it sucks things inside of it, then it explodes and leaves a circle-shaped hole for the radius of the explosion. It's not a real explosion; it's like an implosion. And it's cool as shit. I love bombs like this. I like gravity-style weapons. So, and again, we get to see another one of the grenades. So, so the lawyer guy's like, listen, man, so we should divide up the food, and ration it off and all this. And the dad's like, who said you're gonna get it? Survival of the fittest. You may have been a lawyer out there, but we're not in we're not in society. You know what I mean? You didn't do shit. My son got it down, and I'm the one, and I had the idea for my son to use his bomb, so fuck you. And he's like, hey, man. And so he's like, what, are you going to talk back to me? And he's pushing the lawyer around, and the kid, who's afraid of his father, is like, scumbag. And he goes, what, you need to be taught a lesson? I'm bigger and stronger than you. And he grabs him by his fucking nuts and, like, lifts him off the ground with it and squeezes and twists. And so you get that his dad not only mentally and physically, but even slightly sexually abuses this kid because he's fucking grabbing him by his nuts and shit. And He's like, you have to be taught a lesson, and you get more flashback, and basically, you find out Kira is a BTOOOM player. He gets an achievement for playing like 40 hours straight, and his father finds out and beats the shit out of him for playing the system and kicks the system over and not going to school and stuff like that. So there's a lot of abuse, and he fucking plants one right on his father's chest, and he's like, ah, fuck you, Dad. And he goes to take off the shirt to get it off in time. Doesn't work. The circle explosion kills him, and then the lawyer like pukes. He's like, because he watches him kill his father, and he's like, you see, you're right. I finally got to communicate with him, and I killed him. That's how I felt. It's great. I feel wonderful. I feel alive. This kid is like celebrating. He's like, you'll be my lawyer again, and you'll get me off because I'm clearly insane, right? The abuse with my dad. You saw it. And he's justifying it because this kid's not an idiot, and he's like, and you'll keep on protecting me. And the lawyer dude is like, nah, fuck you, kid. You're worse than your father. Like, you're fucked up. I'm done. You're a piece of shit, and I'm out. And he runs the fuck away. And then this is when it catches up to the end of the last episode. Bam, our hero and his fat old buddy walk in to this scene, and he's like, what, man? Yeah. And Ryota's like, did you kill him? Did you kill this guy? And he's like, yeah, of course I killed him, man. Survival of the fittest and shit. You gotta kill to live, right? And he's like, listen, no, I just want to tell you a couple of things. He's like, you can't tell me anything. Listen, I'm the strongest one here. Fuck you. And he's like, and he looks at Takira, or Tyra, right? Tyra, that's his name. Tyra, sorry. He looks at Tyra and he's like, yo, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. This kid's nuts. Let's make a run for it. And they start running, and the kid starts chasing him. He's like, and the kid's crazy. He's like, nah, I'm gonna kill these guys. It'll be great. I'm loving it. So he starts following them, and Tyra trips and like hurts his ankle or his knee or his leg or whatever, and he can't move. And he's like, leave me behind and go. And Ryota is panicking. He's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Or I'm calling him by his first name, but it's Sakamoto. Yeah, it's Sakamoto. Is what he's been going by in the game. So Sakamoto's like, what am I gonna do? And he's thinking it out. He finally gets a strategy. He's like, listen, if you don't move, the radar can't pick you up. So stay still. I'm gonna divert his attention. He's like, you're gonna be killed. They'll do it. He's like, nah, I'm gonna go up against this guy. And so that's what happens. And he ends up being chased by Kira in the woods, and Kira's a BTOOOM player too, man. So they start analyzing each other, and they actually pull the same tactics against each other, which is he was being chased, and they both they both decided to rush each other, and they did. And Kira threw a bomb at him, but was super surprised when what's-his-face dodged, and both of them were able to discern right away that they were BTOOOM players. But Kira figured he was like a pro player or something, but Sakamoto's so good, he's like, this guy's easily a 3-star player, but I'm a 4-star player, so I got this in the bag. And so basically, that's where we get going, is like, we see already Sakamoto's better than this kid, at least in analyzing. And then they start running and playing a hide-and-seek game. And the problem is Sakamoto's not really trying to kill anybody, because he has he's morals. As much of a scumbag as he could, it's possible he could be, he doesn't want to kill a kid. And the kid's, hunting him. And one of the explosions knocks Sakamoto into a rock and hits his head again. And we all know how fucked up this poor kid's head is. He's all concussed and shit, and he's bleeding again. And you know, the lecture was on how this is just like a real life game, and I'm sure you were nasty at the game, but you're holding back in real life because you're not trying to kill me. I mean, you know, and what happens is he hits his head and he snaps a little. I don't know if it's partially because he hit his head and it was partially due to a defense mechanism because he was going to die. He envisioned himself as if he was playing the game, and like he convinced himself in his head that he was playing the game. And he's like, oh, I'm better than, you know, he envisioned the controller, he envisioned himself behind himself, and he convinced himself that it was the game. And in the game, he is one of the best players on the planet. Top 10 in the world, baby. So that's how he acted. And he started fucking schooling this kid. And this kid is good. And he was just planting bombs and putting up distractions. You know, the kid during the battle had used his vacuum bomb against him, and it landed on his backpack and he exploded it. So now he's starting to understand how these bombs work. He ends up figuring out that if you can, the kid uses the radar before he throws his bombs. Now he has his father's bombs, were the impact grenades, and he has his own bombs, which are the wall hanging, like the gravity bombs, basically, or the black hole bombs, is, you know. So he has all these weapons and he's using against them, and they're both throwing grenades at each other, and you know, he hit him with the surprise shot from behind, and he's like shots like that won't work, and then he threw an impact grenade at him. He's like, that was trying to kill me. Or not an impact, a timer grenade at him. He's like, that almost got me. You know, man, he's taking this serious, and then he's trying to find him. And what Sakamoto does is he times it so at the same time the kid uses his radar, he uses his radar, and the sonar waves cancel each other out, so he can't find him. And he's like, this guy's too good. And he's freaking Kira's realizing that he's woken up a sleeping monster in this kid, in Sakamoto, and he can't beat him. He starts realizing this fast. And basically, Sakamoto's toying with him. He circles him around, and he's finally, like, owned. And he throws a grenade at him, and I guess it hits the backpack. You know, and the backpack has already been established that can take a blast from one of these weapons. And so, the kid is knocked out. But the force of that blast kind of hits him and pushes him back, and it snaps him out of it. And he realizes he was about to kill this kid. Now, during this whole mess, not to make Taira useless, Taira hobbles along and grabs the jewel of his father, Kira's father, who he killed. So now, at least he made himself useful, you know, and I like that about him. He's crafty, you know, and he got the jewel. And so, in the extra scene, after the credits we get, is he chose not to kill Kira, which I think is a huge mistake. I'd have killed that kid. I'm sorry, that kid is nuts. And he ties him up. He takes the food and his bombs, and he leaves him with like a Snickers bar. And he's like, listen, he's like, you know, don't hate me. Don't blame me for this. This is what I had to do. And he walks away, and he goes, tell me your name, you know, and he's like, oh, Sakamoto. And then the kid remembers that this kid is on the top 10, and it scares him even further, like, this is who I was fucking with. And then the kid afterwards is like, I'll never forget your name. And then he's like, oh, this island's so much fun. He's like, you have people like this on the island. So this kid is fucking amped up. He's crazy. And that's how the episode ends. The scene for next week is that we see that he is gonna meet up with Himiko, or is that her name? Yeah, Himiko, and the three of them are gonna get together. So that's great. We finally get the two main characters together for longer than 30 seconds. At least what it looks like. All in all, this episode was fucked up. Woo-wee. That back care boy is not right, man. It is not right. Wow. Wow. I loved the addition of the new bombs. I really like that bomb. Kira's hooked. Woohoo! And they didn't kill him, so he's clearly going to be a main character. This is going to be a recurring theme. And you start to see it really take shape. So I'm going to rate this again. This is, you know, I'm not going to rate this a 5 out of 5. I feel like one day, I feel like this show is on a different caliber, and I don't want to say that this was a 5. I'm going to say this was a 4. Said this is a great episode. And I am loving this show. Every episode, it just keeps getting better for me. It keeps building, and you know, I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do next. There's no limits. There's no boundaries. You know, it sort of reminds me of other shows of these types that are ultra violent. You know, obviously without the weird alien and bringing back to the dead component. It's kind of reminds me of the brutality you see in Gantz. So I really like this show. But, you know, that's it. And this is me just saying click it up if you like it. Comment if you must. Subscribe if you can. This is alertwolf signing off.